Hi again. In my last episode I told you about Paul Revere and the Penobscot exhibition. Paul Revere is best known for his midnight ride, but did you know that there is a 16-year-old girl that is sometimes called the female Paul Revere? Today's episode is about that important, albeit lesser known, woman of the Revolutionary War, Sybil Ludington, and her midnight ride, which was 10 miles longer than Revere's. The stories that surround Sybil are many and varied. Some suggest that she donned pants and rode through the countryside in defiance of her father, others that she rode side-saddle to help her father. By studying history, we can take a truly objective look at the events of Sybil Ludington's life so that we may know her bravery in truth. Sybil was born in 1761 in Fredericksburg, New York, which was later renamed Ludingtonville and is part of the town of Kent, New York. She was the oldest of 12 children. Her father, Colonel Henry Ludington, controlled the 7th Dutchess County Militia, which was a volunteer regiment. As commander, he was also the chief police of the territory, which put him at odds with many people, including a group of marauders who were known as the Cowboys. As a result, Colonel Ludington was hated by many. There was even a bounty put on his head. Prior to her famous ride, Sybil showed her mettle by acting as her father's protector.
No, because of my dad.
For example, one night, a notorious Tory, Ichabod Prosser, attempted to collect the reward placed on Ludington's head. He and his men surrounded the Ludington house and prepared to attack. They were not successful, however, because Sybil and her sister Rachel were acting as sentinels, pacing the porch with guns in hand, ready to give warning to their father. They discovered Prosser and his men and sent out the call. Within moments, every window was lit by a candle, and the occupants of the house marched back and forth in front of the lit windows, causing Prosser to think that the house was too strongly guarded to attack. The girls' vigilance had quite probably saved their father's life. It was also said that Sybil worked with the famous Patriot spy Enoch Crosby. In 1777, Sybil's actions would do more than benefit her father. On April 25, 1777, 2,000 British forces commanded by General Tryon landed in Fairfield, Connecticut. The next day they moved on to Danbury, 25 miles from Kent, New York. The Continental Army used Danbury as a depot for military stores, recently transferring many supplies from Peekskill to Danbury, including food, hospital cots and tents, clothing, shoes, and cooking utensils. Once in Danbury, the British began to search for the stored supplies, using chalk marks to identify the properties of British loyalists and informers. Properties without chalk marks were set to be destroyed. By 4 p.m., several storehouses and 3 private homes were already ablaze. More fires erupted as the British found stores of rum, which they promptly consumed rather than burn. Around 8 p.m. on April 26th, a rider reached the house of Colonel Ludington to tell him of the battle in Danbury and request backup from the 7th Dutchess County Militia. Ludington was now faced with the task of alerting his men who were asleep in their own homes scattered throughout Kent, Mahopac, and Stormville. Sybil took up this task, leaving her house around 9 p.m. and traveling 40 miles through dark, rainy night.
Danbury's flooding. Everybody wake up. The British is burning the town. The fire is spreading.
Not only did she alert her father's militia of the need to assemble at the colonel's house, she warned the townspeople that the British had set fire to Danbury, all the while trying to avoid British soldiers, loyalists, and the outlaws that roamed the countryside. Thanks to her bravery and determination, by the time the sun rose, nearly the entire regiment was accounted for at Ludington's house, and the militia was able to march towards Danbury only a few hours later. Unfortunately, Tryon had already begun to move his troops out of Danbury. Colonel Ludington's troops arrived too late to save the town, but they did fight the British troops as they left the area. 1 Timothy 4:12 says, "Do not let anyone look down on you because you are young, but set an example." Sybil Ludington, although only 16, set an example of bravery and was able to accomplish greatness for the sake of the Patriot cause.
I might be young, but I still can do it.
As a result, in 1976, she became the 35th American woman to be honored with her own postage stamp. Today there are various markers and statues devoted to the life and ride of Sybil Ludington. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. If you found the story of Sybil Ludington to be interesting, you should check out the board game, Ludington's Ride. And for all of you gamers out there, a web-based version of the board game should be available soon. Thanks!
Fight people. Fire people.
What?
Danbury is still burning.
What do you want me to do about it?
I want you to make it not burning anymore.
10-4. Over and out.
I mean all the people to the house.